Seasonal jacket.
Premier Eby sat down to reflect on a year with plenty of challenges.
It just is one thing after another right now.
Front and center, uncertainty over Indigenous rights and fears from homeowners flowing from recent court cases, notably the Cowichan Tribes case. Eby's government is appealing that case, intends to amend the Interpretation Act related to DRIPA, and recently said he'd consider giving loan guarantees to impacted homeowners in Richmond.
It's important for me to point out some bright lines we have as a province. One of those bright lines is that people's private homes, that businesses that have private property should not be negotiation chips for reconciliation in government's negotiations or for the courts.
Other conflict that dominated 2025, pipelines. Despite a deal between Alberta and Ottawa laying the groundwork for a potential pipeline to BC's coast, the Premier maintains his opposition to lifting the oil tanker ban, a condition needed for a pipeline to the North Coast, and calls any talk of a pipeline to the south, like Vancouver, hypothetical.
Premier Smith has no route, she has no proponent, she has no money, she has nothing except a $20 million communications exercise.
He does acknowledge interprovincial spats between BC and both Saskatchewan and Alberta have been partly fueled by politics.
The temptation is always there for politicians, I include myself in that, to bring politics to the table.
When it comes to politics in BC, he doesn't rule out an early election, but says he knows folks here don't want one.
When British Columbians think about their priorities and what they want out of government, an election is probably at the bottom of the list. And I understand that sentiment, and I feel the same way. For us, we're ready for an election if necessary. We're drawing bright lines around what we will and will not tolerate in terms of the legislature.
With the budget around the corner in February and a massive deficit created by his government, he pledges belt-tightening, but won't say when a firm plan to balance the budget is coming.
We are going to ensure that we are bringing that deficit down year over year. We'll let the finance minister roll out her fiscal anchors when she's ready to do that.
On housing, after 15 Metro Vancouver mayors push for the NDP to repeal its housing legislation that allows for multi-unit homes as a right and is seen by some as overreach, not happening, says Eby.
We've unfortunately just run into too many cities that are refusing to build those kinds of homes. Now is absolutely the wrong time to back off on housing. You know, we have led the country in seeing declining rents. We've seen almost a 10% reduction in rents in our province in the last 2 years.
On criminal law changes, the Premier says he's in favor of all the proposals from the grieving family of Bailey McCourt, the Kelowna woman allegedly killed by her ex-husband. Changes that include GPS monitoring and a national domestic offender registry.
We're fully supportive of the proposal that Bailey's family has brought forward.
Regarding the controversial decriminalization of small amounts of most street drugs, a pilot project largely pulled back and up for renewal in January, he says he'd support keeping the law as it presently stands.
Currently, we have an exemption in a very limited situation of somebody overdosing at their house, being able to call 911 and expect that the ambulance shows up instead of a police car to arrest them. I think that makes a lot of sense.
As for the beleaguered forestry sector in the recent shutdown of a mill in Crofton, Premier Eby offered a sliver of hope for the new year.
We're going to do all we can to get that mill reopened. There are proposals around how we might be able to get that back up on its feet. I really hope we'll explore every opportunity to do that.
A new year that will come with a fresh slate of challenges piled on to the existing ones. Rob Buffam, CTV News, Victoria.